So today, I'm spending money, I'm spending time, effort to go and see some celebrities. Now they're not maybe what would be called A-list celebrities, meaning these are people that are famous in a very specific niche and not necessarily beyond that. But we're going to watch the Dallas Flash Pickleball Club, or the Dallas Flash, I guess, is their official name. The pickleball, the MLP, Major League Pickleball uh, team that is ostensibly the Dallas team, or one of the Dallas teams. And anyway, so they're doing an exhibition tonight. So me and one or two of my sons are going to go up there and hang out with them, and so watch them play, I guess, and then possibly get to play with them. There's going to be some, rec play, and in theory, they're supposed to be in amongst us playing. So anyway, kind of, it's making me think a little bit about celebrities, and celebrities are a funny thing. It's like normal people, basically. These are not people with superhuman powers or anything particularly divine about them necessarily, beyond what a normal person has, as far as the imprint of the Almighty, right? But I guess some celebrities could be, but in general, right, these are basically normal people with an above average skill, or an above average, like in this case in the pickleball, it's above average skill, talent, and so forth. In some disciplines, people become famous just because of effort, basically, and usually they are good at something. So there's usually a skill component involved. But you think about some of the famous YouTubers and so forth, like, it's not necessarily that they're like so amazing in front of a camera. In all cases, sometimes it's maybe because they were so persistent, or they were so technically good with like thumbnails and titles, or has this great concepts, whatever it is, right? So usually there is a skill component, I would say, for a celebrity, but really the primary defining element of whether someone is a celebrity or not is whether or not they're well known, right? It's simply are they famous? And it's kind of funny because when you think about somebody being famous, like, why would you care? Why would you want to go see them? And probably not everybody does care. But in most of our worlds, there's people that kind of appear to be at the top, right? And they're, to us, you know we look up to them, right? That we maybe aspire to be kind of like them, right? Like, if I was as good as what these pickleball players were, I would think that was really awesome, right? And even though maybe might have trouble finding anybody to play with if I was actually at their level, but um, and so if you're into so it's a little bit of an odd dynamic, because you have people who are basically normal people, but because they're well known, now there's sort of this veneration, if you will. There's sort of this respect that definitely can get over into worship territory, depending on who the celebrity is, and who the person is. And it's cause for pause, right? Like, why would you lift up any person to where you have a dramatic awe about them? Like, it doesn't. It's kind of illogical, right? Um, and I think that people who are around famous people more, like, I think the reality does sink in to some extent for them, that, yeah, I mean, these famous people are still just people, just people. Um, and so, but whereas some of us who aren't around famous people a lot, we might tend to be a little more starstruck, when we're around somebody that's that's really well known or whatever. Um, one of my one of the things that was fun was when I was in. This is back when I was still doing roofing, so this was like, probably close to 8 years ago now, something like that, 8 or 9 years ago. I got a chance to hang out with a marketing guru, Perry Marshall, that I hadn't. I got his emails, I saw his videos or whatever, but I never had actually like gotten to talk with him, right? And I was never gonna. Well, I say I was never going to. I was not someone who had spent $25,000 to be in a mastermind with him or that kind of thing, right? So, to me, So anyway, I went to this event. It was a Melvin Pillay event, and sat down, hung out, whatever. And then Perry Marshall comes in. He's a little late, maybe, or at least later than some of us. But he sits right next to me. I'm like, cool. So we talk a little bit, and then he's hanging around after the event some, and so we get a chance to maybe ask him a question. I get a chance to ask him a question then, and just kind of hang out with a small group of people with him. And then we go to the restaurant and to eat. Some of us went out to eat afterwards, and he came along, and there again he sat, I think, either next to me or very close to me. So I actually got multiple touch points of where I got to hang out with him and talk to him. So that was pretty cool. Now, I don't know that I liked everything he had to say to me, because some of his he gave me some hard truths about my business too, I would say, at that point, the roofing business that I had. So, but no, in general, it was a cool experience, and one that I'll probably remember, for a long, long time, maybe forever. And then, so there again, that would be someone who, in a small world, right, would be famous, essentially. But to a lot of people, they wouldn't have any idea who Perry Marshall is. And, I'm sure he can, go get the groceries without any problem, right? His local store, probably. So, and then you have, so then it's like, you think about the sort of awkwardness that being starstruck introduces into a conversation. So it's like, what is it like for the person who is a celebrity? Like, do they want the pressure of being amazing for you because you're there, standing there in awe, and your mouth is hanging open, and you're just like, wow, I actually get to meet you in person? It just seems to introduce this whole level of kind of fakeness and strangeness that isn't necessary if you don't get all starstruck. And then and so it's like, is it appropriate to be starstruck by a human being? And I would say, in many ways, I think it is not. When one of the Herods, I guess, when he was, had an enthusiastic crowd around him, and he didn't, give the glory to God, and he was eaten by worms, I believe. And some of the, you note that how maybe some of the apostles or Paul or whoever, if people got into starting to kind of worship them, that they would take aggressive action to try to stop it, or try to speak truth into the situation, that they are humans, they're not God, and don't be, we're humans, we're not God, don't be worshiping us, kind of thing. So anyway, so I think that while it is, and then, okay, so here's the other thing. So when you're with a celebrity, right, what do you want to do? Well, you want to take a selfie, right? Or get something signed, right? So, well, why? What's the point of that? I mean, isn't the point just to enjoy the person? Well, not really. Not the only point, at least. It's all about it. In the end, it's kind of not about the celebrity, right? It's about me getting close to the celebrity so that I feel important, right? So that if I take a picture with them, I can prove on social media I was with this person. It makes me look cool. It makes me look cool and important. Makes me feel important because I was with them in proximity, and maybe some of their importance, their success, their accolades, whatever. It can kind of rub off on me by osmosis, if you will, is because I was in proximity, right? So it's kind of this status through proximity sort of idea. So if you think about it from the vantage point of the celebrity, though, then it's like, what's it like to be surrounded by people who want to take selfies with you? They want to get your signature. They want, whatever. But they don't actually care about you per se. They're not necessarily concerned about your well-being. They just want to feel more important by being with you. And so it's, in some ways, it's actually, even as a fan, that, in general, celebrities have the reputation for being selfish, right? But even as a fan, I think you can actually be very selfish in terms of I just want to be around you just for my own ego, and it's a very, I would think as a celebrity, it'd be very odd dynamic and very kind of fake and not that satisfying, I would think. I'm sure some celebrities have big egos, and the more adulation, the better for them. As far as how they feel about it, I'm sure. Um, but but I would think there's also probably celebrities or well-known people who probably kind of cringe, you kind of despise, you really kind of dislike the fakeness and the selfishness of interaction between celebrities and fans. Um, I will say that I think it is. There's probably an opportunity for good there too, right? There's probably an opportunity for fans to be genuinely interested and caring about the people that they are a fan of, and I think that's fine. I think that's good, probably. And I think there's also an opportunity for the celebrity to be genuinely caring, interested in the people that he or she is interacting with, their fans, and to give them a human touch, give them some affirmation. Like, let's say if I make a really great shot tonight, and J.W. Johnson says "nice hands" to me or something like that, I'm gonna be like, "Hi, dog," right? So anyway, so that's the those are some of my musings on celebrity and some of the things that go with it. So also, in case you're wondering, the Dallas Flash, the current team, is J.W. Johnson, one of the top men's players in the world in men's doubles, I would say, especially. Not necessarily a top singles player, but in men's doubles. And then when I say a top, I would say he's probably top 5, somewhere in there. I'm not sure, 5 to 7 probably. And then Augie Guh, kind of a rising star, who's a lefty. And then on the women's side, I believe it is Tyra Black. So ever since, I think I kind of took a liking to her ever since I heard that she beat Annalie Waters, the number 1 top women's player. She beat her in singles one time, which doesn't happen often. So obviously that's how can you not like a player who does that? And then Georgia Johnson is JW's sister, and she's fairly young and kind of a rising star, I would say. Like, not that she's got a ton of PPA medals yet. She definitely has APP medals, and she has the potential to have a really great career yet. So anyway, those are some of the people that I hope to see tonight in Dallas.